The journey of world peace has such names as Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Desmond Tutu, Mahatma Gandhi. Today our guest is someone whose name is synonymous with making peace happen in Zimbabwe. He's a Jesuit priest who for decades have been dubbed as the quiet diplomat, navigating the country's most turbulent times. And with his unwavering dedication to dialogue, reconciliation and justice has really ensured that we live in a peaceful nation. He founded the Jesuit Peace Building Center, and he is the director of the Center for Peace Initiatives in Africa. Both institutions are driving and equipping local communities with skills and knowledge to resolve conflicts. He has also been involved in major peace processes in the nation, from the liberation struggle's Lancaster Agreement, the Global Political Agreement, and the much more recently, the transition in 2017. He is a tireless advocate for human rights, democracy, and good governance. He has for many years spoken truth to power consistently and challenging injustice and advocating for the marginalized. His book, The Genesis of Violence in Zimbabwe, provides a critical analysis of country's conflicts and lays the groundwork for healing. He was part of the Center for Conflict Management and Transformation as the founding director. And what a way to celebrate 20 years on for CCMT than to sitting down and speaking to the father of peace, Father Fidelis Mukonori, the quiet diplomat, the man we are so privileged today to have a chat with, to trace the footsteps of CCMT 20 years on. Ladies and gentlemen, for another installment of our 20 years on with CCMT, I'm pleased to introduce Father Fidelis Mukonori. Father, welcome to the show.
Thank you. My pleasure. I feel honored.
It's such a journey that you have walked, and I know in my introduction I barely went through what you have been and who you are. Of the things that I've said, can you please share with our audience? Who is Father Fidelis Mukonori? Can you share how you became involved with the Coalition on Conflict Management and how the center then transformed to what it is today?
Thank you. I had just been assigned by my Superior General of Rome as the first black Jesuit provincial in Zimbabwe. And I just barely started to find my feet. And who comes, who knocks at the door? That's Stambile Mpofu. And Stambile could not accept no. So she introduces herself. She says, this is what I am and this is who I am. And I would like that on behalf of people who have sent me, I've come through Silvera House. Silvera House has unanimously said Father Mukonori is the best man for this job. So that's why I'm here. And I'm not going to take it lying down for you to say no. I don't expect you to say no. That was Stambile. And how could I say no? So I kept her coming back about 3 to 4 times, hoping that she would give up. Then, as we were winding up, I realized my own secretary is saying to Stambile, don't give up, don't give up. That's what he does. But he's the best man for the job. Don't give up. Just keep coming. And just let me know when you want to come, and I make sure he is here. So that's when I realized that I'm on my own. So in the end, I said, Stambile, welcome. What can I do for you? And so the ball started rolling.
The ball started rolling, and this was Stambile, who we spoke to in the earlier episode, who could not give up. But Father Mukonori, what was the idea behind CCMT? What did you agree to in those 4 back and forth moments? What was the vision and mission behind this bold idea?
Well, I usually believe in definitions. Center for Conflict Management. Conflict is conflictivity. It is disruptive. It is dishonoring. But when you say Center for Conflict Management, no. Once you start managing that conflictivity, it ends up with such a positivity at the end of it. So, what was the purpose? The purpose was for us to look at to have a Center for Conflict Management, for a center which deals with the conflicts, and taking these conflicts and managing them. And I have no qualms in managing conflict. Just a small background, my father was the first national boxing champion in this country. So I grew up a little boxer myself with other boys. So I don't give up and I don't give in. So from that point of view, conflict, once taken in its entirety, you can turn it into positivity. So purpose for conflict management as an office and a center, the purpose is to take that conflictivity, that amount of surge of strength and understanding, and turn it into positive situation. And that is what we decided from day one, and from within the second and third day, we were already looking at not Center for Conflict Management, but Center for Management of Conflicts, where any part of Zimbabwe, and how to teach people and train people how to use the same understanding of being conflictive, take the same muscles and use them for the positive side, and it works much better. I don't like somebody or anyone who is so simplistic and so adhering to issues. No, not to boekana, but someone whom I'm told, this boy, this girl is quite a pain in the somewhere. I like that pain in the somewhere and turn it into positive. And that's beautiful. So part of my first 25 years as a young Jesuit, I dealt with over 50,000 kids in the Archdiocese of Salisbury in the Roman Catholic Church, and some the others which used to come from different parts of our country. I am a disciplinarian by nature, and I brood no nonsense, and I like to deal with the more difficult a child. I like that. I get more attracted to those. Why? Because already they are active. They are not pacifists. I find it difficult to deal with the pacifists. But activists, I know how to channel and I know how to handle them.
There you have it, channeling pain to healing, channeling pain to positivity, conflict spaces to positivity. Father Mukonori, what brings feelings of nostalgia regarding CCMT? What are those challenges that you also faced during that time, and how did you overcome them?
We managed to look for places and people where problems were occurring. For example, some people were being dislodged from places where dams were about to be created. Others were being moved because there are going to be some mines going to take place for the mining place. Other people were, I'm talking of citizens of Zimbabwe, were being moved because the city was going to expand. So expansion of the city, creation of the dams, and that kind of thing, we had to say, we had to teach different government sectors to say, purpose of creating dams is to enrich citizens. Purpose of mining is to enrich citizens. And the purpose of the expansion of the city or other places is meant for the citizens of Zimbabwe to be beneficiaries. So we started taking some of those people who had been displaced in various sectors, and we spruced them up, we educated them, and we said, go and participate. Where the dam is, you start growing crops. The expansion of the city, you put up your buildings. Follow the rules of the rules of law, and you continue with your project, whether it's the construction of your home, or you want to put up, especially in places where they had some dams, you want a piece of land, make sure you do it and do it right. At some point in time, the Ministry of Local Government adhered and attended one of our meetings in Harare. And I cannot remember the person who came, either permanent secretary or someone of a certain repute, who said, Father, it is not because we deliberately dislodge people. It's because sometimes we do not know how to do it, how to go about it. So for us, for Center for Peace, for this Center for Conflict Management, we started saying, you are welcome to us if you want us to assist. So we were told by the Minister of Local Government, we are going to ask your whole team, and we're going to ask the Minister of Home Affairs to do due diligence and to ensure that once your whole team, we want you to train government senior officials in order to deal with conflict management and transformation.
Father, I want us to spend some time there, because one of CCMT's flagship programs right now is on land. Yes. And especially the challenges that individuals and families go through when they are being displaced because of development-induced displacements. Yes. And you have got quite a rich experience in ensuring there is peaceful resolution of challenges when such displacements happen. Sure. Can you help us understand now what would be your advice to the office bearers today on how such challenges that come through and manifest when development-induced displacements happen, what should happen? How should conflicts now be resolved?
Thank you. It is essential in Zimbabwe to know anyone who lives in Zimbabwe is a Zimbabwean. And every Zimbabwean Zimbabwean citizen requires good life. And every Zimbabwean citizen needs a space to settle oneself. Every Zimbabwean citizen is entitled to piece of land and to perennial peace. So those issues are only done by people who know what it means to say, engage the citizenry. I say to the powers that be, engage the citizenry. Approach the citizens and say, ladies and gentlemen, honorable citizens, this is the project we have. We are going to expand our cities. We are going to expand our towns. We are going to expand our growth points. And in so doing, some people may have to be removed in order to put structures and functions. Structures for roads, structures in order to have water system, structures in order to have necessary places where a road is passing by. The next one is that there is a school. The next one, there is a clinic. Those are systems that have got to be in place. So when you are found wanting, when you are sitting at a place where a school has to be, then you may be moved. But the citizen moves gladly and willingly because the citizen has been consulted. So it is the need for our structures in governance. A good governance means you have to know how to develop a relationship with the citizens. So that any prospective projects forthcoming, you deal with the citizens, and the citizens, once they know these are the plans the government has for us, people begin to say, I'm prepared to move tomorrow. I'm prepared to do this the next day. When do you want us to move, and where do you want us to move? Why? Because they feel the respect and the diligence that has been given by the powers that be, by governments. Because governance means knowing how to deal with a citizen appropriately.
Knowing how to deal with a citizen appropriately through engagement, through consultation, and citizens willingly move to the next relevant space that duty bearers get them to stay. We are still with Father Mukonori and going down memory lane, finding out how CCMT came to be and his experiences as the board chair in that space. Stay with us. Still in conversation with the quiet diplomat, the father of peace in Zimbabwe, and we are really tracing the footsteps of CCMT 20 years on. Father Mukonori, for 20 years plus, you were the board chair of CCMT. In your view, what has CCMT achieved since the time when you came through? And in those years, what would you say were the key lessons that you learned for yourself? And I know this is a very unfair question. You impart lessons to many sectors of citizenry. But for me to ask you what lessons you learned, it's quite mind-boggling. But What lessons do you think you picked from the achievements that CCMT had in the last 20 years?
Thank you. Part of my Jesuit training as a Jesuit priest is you learn all the time. You may have gray hair, or you may be as bald-headed as I am. The learning yet a luta continua. It continues. So what have I learned? I have learned that governance in Zimbabwe was very meek and humble. And indeed, my team that time, we were all done due diligence in the Ministry of Home Affairs. And I was the first to go in. I said, guys, but if you have been a thief before, don't go in because you'll be arrested. So I was the first to go in, and we were all done due diligence and in order to be cleared. And that from that time, we started training staff members of the government in various segments of different ministries. Anyone who deals with movement of peoples and transformation of peoples, we started training them. And the training was just so overwhelmingly accepted. So when one realizes that governance, which has to do with people who know how to be governed, citizens have no problem once they are consulted. And those whom we started training indeed started knowing how to go into the village first, talk to the chiefs, talk to the sabooks, and lay out the plan to say, this is what government is planning, so that all the citizens buy it out. And you have to have the right people who know how to speak to people. Public relations is critical. That's what I learned. Public relations is critical. And some students who were coming from the universities started even joining the different government departments in order that they learn how to deal with the citizens. And there was hardly any place anywhere where we found people resisting. Resistance is a sign of someone not knowing why I have to move. But once people know why they have to move, and they have been laid the affairs off, it becomes smooth sailing.
A lifelong learner and a man who really believes in engaging citizens, even from youngsters as students. So for that period of success, you then decided you wanted to take a step back and left CCMT and have now joined the Council of Elders. What prompted you to leave, Father? And what would you say to others that are in board chairs that are leading, quite successful journeys in the peace building sector on when to leave?
There's no one size fits all. But what is essential is we are at the helm today. You give the helm to somebody else tomorrow, and because you have the time to sit aside, stand aside, and watch. There is still more things to be done. What is that? You are always needed for more consultation, because as long as you are around, there's a certain freshness of issues which come about, and the young men, young women upcoming, taking over the reins, they can be in a panic mood and say, how are we going to handle this? And then you just say, calm down. This is how we go about it. Why? I was talking with my current brother in charge right now of Ccmt. One of the issues we had in Midlands province, how we handled it. When Stembile Mpofu and myself, we decided to go to Midlands when the issue had erupted. So we went there, and Stembile and I, we walked into the office of the Honorable Lady, and she says, Stembile, why didn't you tell me you are coming with Father Mukonori? So she says, well, we came together because we always work together. Yeah. And she looks very innocent. And we said, my sister, how can we be of help? And they realized that the issue which the Ccmt staff members had dealt with, they had done exactly the right thing. But the correction that Stembile and I gave to this lady, we said, such issues are national issues, and they are of national concern, because it's to do with the past securities. And such issues are of national concern. Such issues are taken and reported to national desks. And therefore, it's essential for us, why we came here, to let you know that we are aware of this issue. Our young men had told us what had happened, and we are aware. And I knew some of the issues, especially during the Gukura Undi time, that we had that problem, and I knew exactly what the issue had happened, what had happened. So we said, there's no need to panic, but there's a need to know this issue is not a local issue. It is not a province issue. It is a national issue. So you take it to the national desk.
Right. So he might not be in the forefront, he might not be at the center of Ccmt right now, but sitting in the Council of Elders, he's still making his footprint known, ensuring that the right counsel, the right advice is proffered to the team that is leading Ccmt at the moment. This is Father Mukonori, our quiet diplomat. Father Mukonori, in the genesis of violence in Zimbabwe, you laid down the foundation as well as the analysis of violence in Zimbabwe. And today, we have not really found the solutions to this. And Ccmt is there with a vibrant and young team, faced with a lot of challenges to finding peaceful resolutions to a number of conflicts in the nation. What would you say to that young, vibrant team that you are a council of elder for? to be able to be responsible for driving, you called it perennial peace in the country. What would be that one message you want to leave with the team whose legacy they are riding on?
Knowledge is power. Education is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Education is knowledge. Therefore, whatever you do, I advise the young men and women, do it right. Anytime, all times, not sometimes, but all times.
Profound, extremely profound. We will not leave CCMT unchallenged. And my last question to you today would be, what is that one thing that you want them to start doing or to keep doing to ensure that they are still driving genuine peace and sustainable justice in the country?
I would like to, I would be prepared to go on my knees to ask the young men and women in the CCMT to continue to give the necessary training to the governance of Zimbabwe, because it is based on good governance, good character of people who work in the governments, and the good character of members of the CCMT, that there is that understanding of each other between CCMT and the governance of Zimbabwe and the workers in the government. It doesn't matter, whatever time, all the time, that they have to know that they are at the service of the people of Zimbabwe. Because the CCMT young men and women are at the service of the people of Zimbabwe, they equally give the same training to the people who work in the government, the sectors, to do exactly the same, to have the same type of attitude of saying, we are working for the good and success of the people of Zimbabwe.
Father Mukonori, you have been an icon and beacon of peace in this nation. Our quiet diplomat, who's really quiet when it comes to speaking truth to power. If we are going to give you your flowers, we'll give you your flowers now. On behalf of citizens of Zimbabwe, and specifically the team of CCMT, would like to thank you for always standing for what is right, for always pouring your wisdom, even in the most turbulent of moments. As we celebrate 20 years on with CCMT, we also celebrate you. And this is the legacy that we will forever cherish. Thank you so much for taking time to speak to us and for pouring your heart on what else should be done. Viewers, that was it. Our Father Mukonori, the quiet diplomat, the man at the center of the peace initiatives in Zimbabwe and beyond, had to offer in this segment, but still offering as a council of elders to the body of CCMT and to the body of peace in Zimbabwe. Like we said before, you and me must continue driving peaceful solutions in this country. Go ye therefore and preach the gospel of peace. We are still commemorating 20 years on for CCMT and we would like you to be part of it. Please join our Facebook campaign, our social media campaign as a whole, and forever celebrate peace and drive peaceful solutions wherever you reside. Be well.
Audio Jungle.